Now, in global warming, what happens is you have greenhouse gases, okay? Now, greenhouse gases are carbon dioxide and methane, the two main greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide and methane, CH4. And there are other greenhouse gases like ozone, like chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs. Then the water vapor is also a greenhouse gas. Nitrogen oxides are greenhouse gases. So all these are greenhouse gases. Now what do these greenhouse gases do? See, the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, they help to keep the earth warm. What happens is short wavelength radiation can enter the atmosphere. This is the atmosphere, and now you have short wavelength radiation in the form of light, which has a wavelength between 400 to 700 nanometers. It can enter the atmosphere. Clear? Now once it strikes the earth, this radiation gets converted into infrared radiation, which has a very long wavelength. And this infrared radiation can't escape back into space. Why? Because the greenhouse gases trap it. It doesn't allow it to escape. So what are these radiations? This is infrared radiation, which has a long wavelength, and this has a wavelength somewhere between 4000 to 10,000 nanometers. And this gets trapped by greenhouse gases in the Earth's atmosphere. Okay? Now, what's the consequence? This helps to keep the Earth warm enough for life to exist. Without this greenhouse effect, the temperature of the Earth would be 30 degrees Celsius lower than it is today, and most life on Earth would not have existed. So it's warm enough for life to exist. Is it clear? Without plants and food, we also wouldn't have existed. So it's an essential effect. But the problem is that because of an increase in the concentration of greenhouse gases, the greenhouse effect is actually becoming too much, and that is leading to global warming. So what is global warming? It is an increase in mean global temperatures. Why? Mainly due to an increase in greenhouse gases. Is that clear? So this is what is the cause of global warming. And what are the consequences of it? See, there are many consequences of global warming. Most of you just think of sea level rise and because of melting of polar ice caps, but that's the least concern. Let's have a look at what are the effects of global warming. See, the first effect. Number one, what are the effects of global warming? Yeah, so one of it is melting of the polar ice and sea level rise. Clear? And that can harm coastal regions, low-lying regions. Okay. Second one, another outcome of global warming. Now, change in the distribution of species can also be a result of global warming. Now, a very simple reason. See, if this is the Earth, this is the axis of the Earth, this is the equator, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, Arctic Circle, Antarctic Circle, right? Now, generally, suppose an organism lives here at this point, and now it becomes too hot there. Now what will happen is, this organism will migrate further north, because as you move away from the equator, it gets cooler. Is it clear? And if an organism is living in the southern hemisphere, it will move further south. So in general, species will start to move further north in the northern hemisphere, further south in the southern hemisphere to find cooler places. Secondly, if an organism is living on a mountain slope and the organism lives here, it will move further up the mountain slope to find a cooler place. So the distribution of species is likely to change because of global warming. They can start to colonize new areas. Is it clear? Another effect of global warming is speeding up of the life cycle of insects. Insects are cold-blooded, and the incubation temperature of the eggs and the larvae, growth, development, all that is temperature dependent. Now, if temperature increases, the insect life cycle will speed up. And instead of, let's say if an insect has a life cycle of 28 days or 30 days, now that may go down to about 15 to 18 days. So every 18 days or 15 days, you will get a new generation of insects. And that has, harmful as well as useful effects. For example, is that good or bad? Many insects are pests of crops. So if the pest populations increase, crop damage is going to be more. So could be a harmful effect. Another effect, many insects are vectors of diseases like malaria, like filaria, like dengue. So you have to be very careful. If these insect populations increase, diseases could spread more rapidly and more widely, because remember, they can colonize more areas. Is it clear? But insects are also very good. Why? Because many insects are pollinators, and these pollinators can increase the yield of the crops. Is it clear? So there could be some harmful effects and there could be some good effects as well. Is that clear? Next, what happens? Now there could be an increase in the rate of photosynthesis. Why? Because photosynthesis is also controlled by enzymes. Higher temperature, higher enzyme activity, and that will help to decrease carbon dioxide concentration, provided we give the plants enough space to grow. We are cutting down the plant, so it doesn't really help in any way. Is it clear? Next, what else happens? There will be an increase in decomposition. That can be good for plant growth. Plant growth could increase, but there could be a harmful effect also. What's the harmful effect? Yes, so CO2 is released more rapidly, and that could increase global warming. So that could lead to more global warming. Can you understand this? So that's another harmful effect of this. Another effect of global warming would be that when global temperatures rise, CO2 concentration in the ocean decreases, and because of that there will be more CO2 in the atmosphere. CO2 in atmosphere will increase. Now, good or bad? Good because more photosynthesis can occur, but bad because it could lead to more global warming. So it's a positive feedback thing. Once it changes, it will keep on increasing. So can you see the many harmful effects of global warming? Also, it will lead to unpredictable climate. So the climate change will occur, and that could again affect many species of plants and animals. Can you understand about these harmful effects, or even sometimes the good effects of global warming? Is this clear? Now, what causes CO2 and methane to be released? CO2 and methane. See, CO2 is released by, or CO2 concentration increases by burning of fossil fuels. Combustion, right? What else? Deforestation and increased respiration. These are factors which could increase CO2 concentration. Now, methane concentration can increase due to landfill sites by cattle, cows, sheep, goats. They burp out methane because of the organic matter decomposing in their gut in anaerobic condition. So cattle also release a lot of methane, and methane is also called as marsh or swamp gas. So methane is produced in marshes and swamps where organic matter will decompose under anaerobic conditions. Is that clear now? So these are the sources of methane and carbon dioxide, which can lead to an increase in global warming. Okay.